All right, so I'm going to call on my panelists to join. We've got Imad Barakat from the Chairman and CEO of Smiths, Olivier Granet, co-CEO and Managing Partner for Casada Capital Partners, Hamid Bentantar, for CEO, Executive Vice President for Accor, and Thomas Pellerin, Hub Leader, Maghreb, West Africa for the IFC. Welcome, gentlemen. Good, so we're going to get started quite quickly, and I think we're switching a little bit between English and French, I believe, so I'm going to keep my headphones on handy. But Olivia, I think I'll start with you. You know, as by the largest hotel investor in sub-Saharan Africa the last few years, and here you are today in Morocco, and with some plans for the region. What has actually attracted you here, and what has been the sort of evolution of Casada that's kind of built to this point?
Good morning. First of all, thank you to Imad and all the team of the Smith and API to organize the event. It's great to be all together and to discuss about Morocco and future opportunities in Morocco. So for Casada, we have become the leading investor in sub-Saharan Africa, investing in 20 hotels in 8 different countries on the last 3 years. And the good news for Imad, which is not the news, but that I'm pleased to share with a wider audience today, is that our next ambition for us is to become truly Pan-African, and therefore Morocco is becoming a key priority for us, and we are going to establish a dedicated fund for Morocco. And what's important for us, really key, and I'm glad to be with my good friend Hamid, is that it's not a question of size and say we want to become the #1, or it's how we can work closely with the key market players, and how we can replicate what we have done so far, which is to be a solution provider and bring some additional resources, expertise, and see how we can go to the next level. So why Morocco? It's always a combination of the strategy of the macro environment and the hospitality sector. So our strategy is clear. The macro in Morocco, no need to expand. It's quite obvious. Top 5 largest economy on the continent. We have seen in the figure one of the largest market. It's business-friendly environment, so it's on the top 3 destination of the continent, if you are not aware, as per the Global Economy Index. So all the good reason to do it. But now if we come to the hospitality sector, it's a no-brainer, as this is the #1. We have seen the figures, so now this is becoming #1 destination in the continent for tourism, with the #1 also for investor destination in terms of tools that have been presented today, and that I'm sure will be commented again this morning, to support investment in the tourism sector. So all good reason to be here.
Fantastic. Hamid, I'll come to you, and Accor has been present in the region for a long time. You know, how, just as a spectator, and having seen the evolution of the industry from an investment perspective, you've had some incredibly strong capital partners over the years. How have you seen that investor landscape change?
So, thank you very much. First of all, I'm here as president of the National Tourism Confederation, but I can tell you that for Accor, Morocco have always been a very strategic destination for the development of the group. Few months ago, our CEO was here in Morocco, and confirmed the ambition where Accor is #1 operator in Morocco today, and the ambition is to double the growth for the coming years. We have only Accor have only 9 brands present in Morocco, but you know that the group have changed a lot during the last years. So the ambition is to bring some more lifestyle brands, more high-end luxury brands to Morocco, and to diversify its offer in Morocco. So we believe that there is a great opportunities and great momentum in Morocco. But globally speaking, and as president of the National Tourism Confederation, I can see that today Accor have a big ambition, but not only Accor. All the international groups, all investors from all around the world that just came back from Qatar and been traveling the last weeks, and we have a lot of investors. When we ask them why Morocco, to answer the questions, first they all speak about the fact that it's the #1 with 14.5 million in the 10 first months, only the destination in terms of arrivals in the continent. So when you have the #1, what do the investors are looking for? First, they want stability. Morocco offers that. Second, they want visibility on the market demand. And we know that today, all the planes arriving to Morocco are nearly 95% occupancy. So we don't have enough flights, and that's why Royal Air Morocco, for example, is gonna quadruple its fleet, but not only Royal Air Morocco. Every day you can see announcements, American Airlines, United Airlines starting direct flight to Marrakesh. You can see lots of new companies who wants to bring more flights to Morocco. And so this is also another sign in terms of market demand. In terms of feasibility, you have seen that the governments have implemented something unique in terms of support to investors to make it happen. The investment charter, I think it has been presented yesterday. That's also something that shows the determination of the Moroccan government to grow this sector. And at the end, we've talked about RevPAR, but you should talk about return on investments. In Morocco, you should turn about what's happening in terms of GOPAR, of GOP per available room, and not only in terms of revenue per available room. If you look to that figure, you're gonna see that it's a very interesting destination for investors.
And that is absolutely what matters at the end of the day. And what do you think are some of the factors that sort of are kind of contributing to that? Besides that top line growth, what more on the sort of expense side? Is it the economies of scale, value chain of the, what's sort of contributing to that?
First, I think that the growth in terms of the revenue is there. This is the first element. If you compare in terms of RevPAR, very good performance in most of the destinations that are in the top 5 destinations in the continent, and some of them even are leading in terms of RevPAR. You have the government incentives that helps a lot. Then you know that in terms of expenses, we don't import that much products because you can find and use local products that would help, and still the costs are quite low compared to other destinations. And today, when you add the incentives that's gonna help in terms of investments plus the revenue costs, it makes it much more profitable destination than any other competitors, at least in the continent.
It's actually what myself and Thomas were talking about earlier, in terms of the role the IFC often has to play in more frontier geographies of really creating that capacity and that value chain to be able to operate hotels efficiently, and it's tough. right, Thomas? But in the case of Morocco, it's far more established and less of a role in terms of that sort of full value chain, and more of where is the focus for the IFC in a bit more of a sophisticated, mature, but still emerging market?
No, thank you so much, Wayne, and thank you so much for inviting IFC as part of this panel today. IFC is part of the World Bank Group. We invested close to $4 billion in the hospitality sector. In Africa, I think we finance over 100 hotels. We are a proud partner of many great hotels that we finance. We finance single assets. We finance as well hotel platforms. So a proud partner of many, including Casada here, but many more. So in Morocco, I think there's you mentioned the challenge, any challenges on the supply chain. So for a good hotel to function, you need to have a good ecosystem, right? And IFC, besides being a financier, we help also our clients to work on their ecosystem to be able to obtain, fresh fruits of a certain caliber every morning, delivered at 4 a.m. so that it's available for, clients, et cetera, et cetera. So what we've seen in sub-Saharan Africa, in the many flagship, many hotels that we finance, is that you don't always have this type of capabilities, and we've developed a number of advisory programs to help hotels and help the SMEs, local SMEs, especially catering to the F&B part of the hotel to bring to a certain standard. Now, I mean, clearly, we don't feel that this is a big impediment here in Morocco. I think in Morocco, if you look at, hotels, hospitality industry, maybe the bottlenecks in the operation might be more on the workforce, as was, I think, mentioned yesterday, than on the supply chain. If you just spend 2 minutes on the workforce, there's been a lot of, obviously, some people lost their jobs during the COVID. The increase in, I think, in employment in hospitality was 13% over the last 2 years. It's huge. So a lot of people had to go back. It means training people, or go back, or new people coming in as well. And that we see, in the ecosystem, it's a far greater challenge. Maybe just one more point on, IFC and what we've been tend to finance. So we've been a major enabler of hospitality that is geared towards business. 3-star, 4-star hotels, also luxury hotels, build the infrastructure business. That's a little bit our investment thesis, our development thesis from our end, because we're a financial institution, but with a impact investor, and we look at the impact on mostly on the business, even though there's also lots of spillovers, positive spillovers of the hospitality industry across the board. And I think that's something to keep in mind. The hospitality industry drains a lot of jobs, direct jobs, but also a lot of indirect jobs. And having more brands, like we see here, coming in a market like Morocco will just help raise the standards. Because as you know, the brands have very, very strict standards when it comes to from constructions to operation. And that we see very positively.
Fantastic. Imad, coming to you, and I'm going to ask you about the charter, but I think we heard quite a bit from it yesterday. And I think what stood out for me is, just how broad the focus is across the tourism value chain. We're not only talking about corporate hotels and real estate. We're talking about tourism in its most broadest sense, right? And just from a Smith perspective, what sort of really motivated the need to really sort of focus on the entire value chain of tourism?
Sorry, I'm going to speak in French, just to give the French translator the opportunity to work a little bit with us.
He's very good, I must say.
Sorry for that.
A fantastic job yesterday.
In the floor, we have some people speaking English, but French as well. So I'll swap to the other language. which is easiest for me to second round French. Okay, I'll be in second round speaking in English. So, peut-être dans l'environnement de ce qu'on est en train de mettre en place, il y a, je pense que ça a été dit hier, il y a un ensemble d'incitations qui ont été mises en place pour développer cet écosystème. Alors, je pense qu'on a beaucoup parlé de charte d'investissement, on a parlé aujourd'hui de produits. Au fait, la vue et la vidéo qu'on a pu voir permet de montrer qu'il y a tout un ensemble d'écosystèmes sur le Maroc qui a lieu de développer. Ça part de la petite entreprise jusqu'au plus grand groupe. Et donc aujourd'hui, nous ne nous attelons pas à encourager uniquement de gros investisseurs ou de petits. Et c'est dans ce cadre-là qu'il y a un accompagnement qui est fait par la Société marocaine d'ingénierie touristique sur le long de la chaîne, à l'ensemble des écosystèmes de la chaîne de valeur. Alors, si je puis rappeler, dans le cadre du travail qui est fait pour ce développement, il y a énormément de mécanismes qui sont mis en place pour rendre la vie facile à l'hôtelier. Je m'explique, c'est-à-dire que quand le gouvernement investit à développer un environnement, et je parle par exemple de développer un produit qui n'est pas productif, ben, il est là pour inciter l'hôtelier à mieux commercialiser son produit et à le rendre plus rentable. Et donc aujourd'hui, le Maroc a investi énormément dans des circuits touristiques, dans de la signalétique, dans des médinas, dans différents types d'infrastructures qui permettent à cet hôtelier d'être plus rentable. Deuxième sujet, c'est des aides directes. Et là, on parle de la charte d'investissement, puisque dans le cadre de la charte d'investissement, il y a d'abord une volonté de l'État de répartir sur toutes les régions la valeur ajoutée du tourisme. Et donc, il y a certaines régions qui peuvent recevoir jusqu'à 30% de cashback par rapport au CAPEX investi dans le cadre du tourisme. Certaines régions qui sont déjà rentables, où il y a déjà de l'infrastructure et tout ça, ben là, bien entendu que le niveau de subvention n'est pas le même par rapport à ce qui est fait. Donc, cette répartition tient aussi en compte, et cette subvention tient aussi en compte le caractère durable de l'activité et de ce qu'on peut faire. C'est-à-dire qu'elle tient aussi en compte l'aspect environnemental de ce développement, la partie nombre d'emplois à créer. Donc, elle tient aussi en compte l'aspect social. Et donc, cette charte d'investissement vient corriger ou améliorer la performance de ce secteur hôtelier de manière assez puissante par rapport à la demande qui est attendue. Donc, j'ai parlé de la partie de la charte, mais il y a un certain nombre d'aspects qui ont été mis en place, tels qu'aujourd'hui, dans le cadre de la rénovation aujourd'hui, nous supportons le taux d'intérêt qui est financé par l'État dans le cadre d'un mécanisme qu'on appelle Cap Hospitality. Donc là aussi, c'est une incitation qui représente à peu près entre 25 et 30% du CAPEX qui serait investi par l'hôtelier. Nous retrouvons également d'autres incitations qui sont portées directement par le fonds Mohamed VI, qui investit de différentes manières dans le cadre du secteur. Et donc, il investit soit directement, soit indirectement, en mettant en place et en garantissant un apport de fonds propres à un certain nombre d'industriels hôteliers qui souhaitent aujourd'hui se développer. Et pour ce qui est des petites entreprises, ben, il y a aussi un mécanisme d'incitation qui a été mis en place, un au niveau national qui s'appelle Go Siyaha, et un autre, j'aurai l'occasion peut-être d'en parler un peu plus tard tout à l'heure, un au niveau local qui est aujourd'hui fait par les régions, où plus de 150 millions aujourd'hui de dollars ont été injectés pour qu'il y ait une répartition de la richesse au niveau de tous ces territoires. Tout cela pour pouvoir développer les écosystèmes touristiques dont on a parlé et les 14 filières de notre feuille de route. Sur la partie demande, il y a, là aussi c'est important pour l'hôtelier parce que quand l'État subventionne aujourd'hui le marketing, c'est quelque part il subventionne l'activité commerciale de l'hôtelier. Et là aussi, il y a énormément de fonds qui sont mis en place pour améliorer la connectivité dans le cadre du co-marketing ou la promotion de la destination. La formation est aussi non des moindres parce qu'un budget important a été mis en place. Tout cela va pour le développement de l'écosystème hôtelier directement ou indirectement. Voilà. Et notre vision, elle est globale, elle est inclusive, puisqu'aujourd'hui, elle va sur l'ensemble du territoire. Bien entendu que Marrakech ne sera pas traité comme Dakhla, et Dakhla ne sera pas traité comme Rabat ou Casablanca ou d'autres où c'est plus facile. Donc notre rôle aujourd'hui est d'accompagner cette vision de l'État. Notre rôle aussi est d'accompagner ces investisseurs pour que leur affaire soit la plus rentable possible. J'ai beaucoup aimé hier la réponse de mon ami González de Barcelo, qui disait ce n'est pas ces incitations qui nous ramènent à investir au Maroc, c'est plutôt cette confiance dans cette destination qui aujourd'hui marche bien, et aujourd'hui les performances le montrent, et c'est pour cela que je viens investir au Maroc. Voilà. Notre rôle est vraiment d'accompagner ces gens qui sont très intéressés par cette destination, et nous les accompagnons pour que l'écosystème puisse grandir, qu'il soit du côté de l'État ou du côté du privé. Petits ou grands, nous sommes là pour les accompagner dans ce sens.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that makes a lot of sense. And you're right, it's not necessarily the incentives in isolation. It's not even a World Cup. A World Cup is a 3-week event. It's a statement of commitment, and that you've really sort of understood the enablement and the value creation that comes from the tourism sector, which is huge. I just wish we could export that sort of mentality across the wider African region. Olivia, coming back to you, and I guess the evolution of Quesada, and I guess a lot of lessons and sort of through the last few years, a market like Morocco, which is quite diverse in terms of source markets and segmentation. Leisure's a big part of that. You've increasingly incorporated that into your sub-Saharan Africa strategy. Is that going to be quite a big part of the strategy here? And what are the sort of some of the benefits that come with that wider segmentation mix?
Yeah, just to come back on what has been mentioned by, presented by Imad. What has been presented is quite unique. As investor looking at number of markets, I don't have any other example of country supporting the investment. I mean, it's important to recognize and to acknowledge. This means that this is also bringing a responsibility. There is a great momentum in terms of number of tourists. There is great tools that are now in place. There is the World Cup coming, so failure is not an option. And this is where we need to look at all parameters, and the fact that, I mean, my perspective is a little bit different from what you said. As yesterday, there was a very clear and simple question that was raised, which was to investor. It was the investor panel, and there was a simple question: Is it profitable? Are you making a good return on investment? I don't know you, but I didn't get really the answer. You feel that people were a little bit embarrassed to answer to the question. So the challenge is to bring more liquidity on the market, more foreign investor to support. All the tools, which are great, are valid if someone is starting by putting equity. And as investor, I don't see equity and bringing you other investor as a competition. Competition is healthy, and there is a lot of different opportunities to do in the market. Some will focus on brownfield, some will focus on greenfield, some will focus on different market segments. So as investor, I would like to see more competition and more liquidity to the market for a solid and better return to make it sustainable. And then to develop the market segment which are needed, and your point on leisure is a key one, and I would even add a combination of leisure and lifestyle together, which is for me the new trend and new evolution of our hospitality industry. It's a radical shift. During 50 years, you build the hotel, you have your allocation of square meters, and you think about your meetings, events, your room, and you design for people traveling. Now you design for people living. You want to have the best place to be, and then the traveler will come. But again, you need to make it sustainable, meaning that we all have to work together to make it profitable and attract more liquidity.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's key. At the end of the day, that capital can go wherever it wants in the world. It's competitive out there, and Morocco has to position itself differently. And I think the fundamentals are excellent, and but now it's a case of seeing how capital behaves. And I think one of the key things is sustainability, right? And I think countries and are needing to be sort of quite strategic when it comes to how they position themselves. There's a huge weight of sustainable linked capital out there. I mean, how does Morocco sort of use this area to actually enable investment into hospitality? Thomas, I'll start with you, but then also go to Hamid and down the line.
So listen, I mean, sustainability is a buzzword, right? So let's maybe leave the buzzword and look at concrete things. As you know, Morocco is living a severe hydric stress, and people who live in Casablanca know it more than anyone else. So as we're going to develop the tourism industry in the kingdom, it is fundamental that water management be at the core of this development. Let me give you another point. Today, most 80% of tourists are more than 80% of tourists are international travelers, and the vast majority of them are coming from Europe, which Europeans are becoming a lot more, environmentally conscious, and your clients, tourists, want to know that the hotels that they are doing in the activity that they're going to do while in Morocco are somewhat not destroying the environment, right? So that is fundamental, I think, to the hospitality business in Morocco. And every investor needs to factor that in. So IFC, we support a number of operators around the world, and we expect them to have sustainable practices. But beyond expecting them, we're also helping them achieving these sustainable practices. So IFC put out invested in developing a green building certification called EDGE. That's a lot simpler than most of the certification out there. That is really made for low-income, middle-income countries. Okay. Today, in some countries, EDGE is the reference, like Colombia, Vietnam, etc. It is the green building certification in the country. We are accompanying our operators and others, actually, to get onto EDGE. Actually, we did a specialized event with property companies last week on EDGE green building. That's the first point. Second point, we also, we're quite fond of platforms. I mentioned Casada, we're supporting also Onomo, Azalai, etc. on the continent. And when a platform comes with a number of assets, existing, new, in the pipeline, etc., we've developed also a tool to help them analyze the existing asset, their portfolio of assets, and where they can make gains in terms of sustainability, but also in terms of money, right? Because most of those sustainable practices usually have a positive impact on the OPEX. Maybe not CapEx first, but eventually down the road, OPEX savings, right? So we've developed advisory tools to help asset owners to look at the broad range of assets and okay, where is it that they can make a dent. Beyond that, we have a number of initiatives in terms of for instance, sustainable cooling, where IFC is coming with also advisory, often paid by IFC to help on specific topics like the cooling in the various assets, whether actually it's hospitality and others. So all that to say that this is a big topic, and we are very keen to support the type of investors that really have a strong sustainability strategy. And just one point on this, when the Casada platform was created a few years ago, we saw it as a unique opportunity to accompany one asset developer asset owner in transforming its part of assets. An operator that was ready to come in, put in the money to invest in its asset, to turn them into EDGE-certified green building. We're happy to replicate that with anyone in Morocco who's really interested on that topic.
Just from a confederation perspective, what's the sort of messaging around sustainability and its importance?
Thank you very much. I would like to do like Ahmed. Ask first, how many person doesn't speak French in the room? Yeah, there's few. Okay. Do you allow me to switch to French? Majority speaks French. Because there's an important message quite minutes ago.
Go for it, yep.
If you can switch, you have the translation?
Yep.
You have the headphones?
Yes.
In the room? Ah, vous avez mal entendu, vous avez mal entendu. D'accord, très bien. Donc vous parlez français finalement. Pardon. Alors, donc pour ceux qui ont besoin de traduction, récupérer les casques. Je voudrais d'abord remercier Olivier pour ce qu'il vient de dire à l'instant, en challengeant un peu ce qu'on a dit, puis par rapport aux réponses qu'il a entendues de la part des investisseurs. Ce type de forum, merci la Smith de nous donner la possibilité de venir échanger ensemble et de nous dire les choses. Parce qu'on ne peut pas faire des forums. Bien sûr, ça s'appelle Showcase in Morocco. L'idée, c'est de vous montrer les forces et les opportunités du Maroc, mais on veut aussi écouter de la part des investisseurs et on a besoin de ça. Le Maroc a besoin de vos idées, de vos suggestions pour qu'on aille plus vite. Effectivement, et une des raisons pour laquelle personnellement je me suis impliqué dans la Confédération nationale du tourisme, c'est parce que durant les 20 dernières années, on a une croissance supérieure à la moyenne mondiale. Sauf que dans cette croissance, la croissance des arrivées était inférieure à la croissance des capacités. Ce qui a fait que sur les dernières années, nous avons détérioré la rentabilité des investissements touristiques parce qu'on avait une croissance des arrivées inférieure à celle des capacités. Cet élément répond en partie à l'interrogation et l'inquiétude des investisseurs. Il se passe quelque chose au Maroc. Depuis pas très longtemps, nous avons effectivement travaillé main dans la main, public et privé. On s'est challengé mutuellement pour écrire une feuille de route qui nous permet d'avoir une croissance des arrivées à 2 chiffres. C'est cet élément-là qui va nous garantir, et qui garantit déjà depuis 2 ans, une croissance à 2 chiffres qui permet d'avoir de la visibilité sur de la croissance non seulement des capacités, mais aussi des taux d'occupation et des prix moyens. Et donc c'est ce qui se passe grâce à cette feuille de route qui, dans le passé, on avait des belles visions, mais on n'avait pas toujours les financements qui vont avec. Pour une fois, on s'est battu, on s'est challengé et on a une feuille de route qui est financée avec des moyens importants qui vont nous permettre de garder ce rythme-là. Si le rythme des arrivées est inférieur à celui de la croissance des capacités, nous allons continuer à avoir certains qui réussissent et d'autres pas. Aujourd'hui, ce que je peux vous dire, et regardez bien les chiffres, et c'est cet indicateur qui est le plus important pour nous. Historiquement, on avait une croissance de 4%, 1 point au-dessus de la moyenne mondiale qui était de 3%. Depuis 2 ans, nous avons une croissance qui est à 2 chiffres, ce qui nous permet d'être parmi les premières destinations en Afrique à avoir retrouvé non seulement les performances de 2019, mais de les avoir dépassées. Et ça, c'est uniquement sur la partie des budgets de promotion, des budgets pour l'aérien, des budgets pour la Royal Air Maroc. Donc il faut être capable de se projeter, de voir un peu la réalité effectivement de ces 2 dernières années, depuis l'arrivée de cette nouvelle feuille de route. Mais ce n'est pas que le tourisme. Il y a bien sûr les programmes et la charte d'investissement. Tout n'est pas parfait. On se bat encore pour qu'il y ait la charte d'investissement pour les PME. Parce que pour l'instant, nous avons des solutions pour accompagner les acteurs pour les investissements au-dessus de 50 millions de dirhams. On a des solutions pour accompagner les investissements en dessous de 10 millions de dirhams, c'est Go Siyaha. Au milieu, nous avons encore un gap. Et ce gap, dans les prochains mois, vous allez entendre parler de mécanismes et d'une charte pour accompagner les investisseurs entre 10 et 50 millions, qui pour l'instant, ce n'est pas encore couvert, mais ça va le faire. ayez confiance en nous. Merci beaucoup.
Great. Fantastic. Olivia, I'll ask the same question slightly differently, and you would have seen a lot of beyond commercial sort of and deployment success, economic, tourism, social impact, environmental impact, and the broader ESG story. I mean, what would be a message to other sovereign-aligned investors or impact investors or even some institutional investors that are looking for that impact story from a hospitality perspective? I mean, is it there, and to what extent is sort of, platforms and partners like yourselves necessary to unlock that?
I'm glad that I got the full attention and therefore passion from Hamid, and again, that's really this type of forum and this type of exercise where there is a need to put the key stakeholders together and to pursue the discussion, and I think that's a key success factor for the future. On sustainability, and thank you, Thomas. We have a close and very strong relationship with IFC and some other DFI, but a lot with IFC around financial support with debt, but which is really focusing on ESG, and there was the mention of the EDGE certification. So we are taking the commitment that 100% of our assets have to be EDGE certified 12 to 18 months post-renovation or opening, and this is restructuring. And I was very pleased 2 years ago in Berlin, when you have this huge forum, one of the largest hospitality forum in the world, where there was an ESG session, and it was around how to renovate and make the building more energy efficient, not only for the new development, but when you have some buildings 40 or 50 years old. And for example, I was asked to present the business case, and I like when Africa can take the lead, can be innovative, and can convey message to the rest of the world. And I was asked to explain how we got with our hotel in Dakar, which is a 50 years old building, the qualification EDGE Advanced, meaning 40% of saving, and how we can do that. So this is where we can showcase initiative. But really important, it's energy efficiency is very important. We want to go more globally, so we have the only 2 hotels certified Green Key in South Africa, and that's something that we would like to expand, because this is the food waste management, for example, is critical in our industry. So this is, again, how we work together to bring the best practice and to ensure that this is something which is available for most of the players. Because the last and most important point is that we are a business people, and again, the training and the career opportunity and what we can do to promote the quality of service, but also to work together in terms of hospitality schools, is again a subject where we need coordination, public-private sector.
Fantastic. Imad, I'm going to give you the last words as our gracious host, and to ask you sort of in one sentence, to encapsulate the pitch to investors for Morocco, and also just your final thoughts more broadly.
Thank you. Maybe just a few words about sustainability, because it's very important. Just to come back at what have been said, I think in Morocco we have 3 levels where we are working on sustainability. The tourism development in Morocco is a way to develop sustainability. Why? We don't want to have a big footprint of tourism in each territory. So where we are trying is to diversify the market and to diversify, the regions to develop tourism. This is something that costs a lot to the state. It's easy. We can say, come and invest in that territory or come and invest in that region, but it costs a lot to develop this kind. But for sustainability is important. The footprint on this territory is important. That's why we are working to have many programs developing that. Second level is the product. We have something that we call Clé Verte that is developed, Clé Verte Green Key, that we are developing, and it's something, it's labelization for hotels that are consuming green, let's say that, or managing green, and it means that efficiency in consumption, it means waste optimization, but it means an energy, a green energy in consumption. I know that Morocco is developing a lot of production for green. We have stations, and many stations are green. So this is the second level. Third level is what kind of product, and I'll come back and say that, of course, we are developing, our edge is cultural. We are developing all products around the country are around nature and around culture. So that's asks and that's needs to have sustainability and development. Last word is come to invest in Morocco. You are in the closed door to Europe, to Africa, the Middle East, US. Really, you are at the middle of the world. So come and invest there. There is a huge opportunity today because there is a vision that is implemented under under His Majesty the King. A lot of infrastructure have been developed, health infrastructure, highway, long train speed, a lot of things happening. It's the momentum to invest in Morocco.
Good. Well, you heard it. Thank you very much, everyone.
Look,
Big round of applause.
I have another one. In Morocco, we have a long history of public-private partnership, and in Morocco, it's always the private sector that takes the last word. So, no, because you guys, private sector, you create the jobs, you do the investments, and we count on you. So, but what I wanted to say that it's not only a story of tourism. There's a momentum for Morocco. There's 100 projects, 100 opportunity of public-private investments that are available in major infrastructure. It's a $50 billion plan for those 100 projects. So there's a lot of things happening in all other industries that will positively impact tourism in terms of business and leisure travelers. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Wayne.
everyone.
And thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, guys.